special live edition of What If I Told You. Not live, but close enough. It's a good outdoor day here in Minnesota, so I thought I would film a same day episode. It is 75 degrees and sunny outside, as you can see. I am at the St. Croix National River waterfront site. I don't think it's a National Historic Site. This one is run by the Department of the Interior. I am just north of Scenic, Minnesota, and this site is on the ledge of the St. Croix River, which is right behind me. And of course, the cliff that you see behind me, that is Osceola, Wisconsin. And so I am filming this edition of What If I Told You from this lovely little spot here, taking it outdoors today. And so, what if I told you should never move in with a romantic partner before marriage under any circumstance? And you got to be looking at this like, well, of course you're going to say that. You're a Christian, you know, you believe in the Bible, you believe in no sex before marriage, and all that other fun stuff. But that's not the reason why I'm saying this. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you almost need to have an escape route in case things go south. And by going south, I mean the pretty major crap. And how can it go south? Well, if you're a woman, there's pretty obvious reasons that you can probably think of. You know, what if he turns out to be a physical abuser? You know, what if he winds up becoming an emotional abuser? What if he's just bad news all around? What if he can't afford to carry his own part of the financial responsibilities? What if you're slowly being dragged into doing everything? What if you're being physically abused? These are situations for which, if you have already moved in together, escape is much more difficult from. If you don't move in together, these are pretty easy situations to escape from. Of course, abuse is not something that's ever going to be ever easy to deal with no matter what. But at the same time, if you're in a situation, you can either get a restraining order or just have law enforcement on hand anytime you think that you're in a situation where you can be compromised. And you can do so in your own house, and you can secure your own physical safety in your own domicile without him around. This is key. This is the key. This could be the key to keeping you alive. So don't ever move in with a man. If you're a man, the reasons are not as much of an existential crisis, but they could be a financial one. What if she, I got the idea for this video from watching a film of a woman with her, I don't know if it's a boyfriend or fiance, but let's say she went on talking about how who her hall pass would be. And for those that don't know, a hall pass is somebody that you would be allowed to cheat with. And I believe in this one she mentioned that her hall pass would be Matt Damon. So, famous actor. At this point, if I'm the man, I'm saying run. Get out of that relationship because she's not wife material. And if you're engaged to her, it's over right there. Not having moved in with this woman would make that much easier to do. You just take the engagement ring back and call it good. And if you're moved in with each other, on the other hand, much more difficult to deal with. You're dealing with leases, you're talking with financial obligations, you're talking with bills. And again, if she's not carrying her weight on that, you're also dealing with potential difficulties on that front. So, just, if you're deep into a relationship, even if you're engaged, don't move in together until you have a marriage. And obviously, if you have a marriage, you can file for taxes as being married, and you get those particular benefits as accorded by the tax law. And so financially, in that regard, of course, marriage, does provide some pluses. I personally don't believe that the government should be in the business of regulating marriage at all. I think it should be a function of the church. But that's my personal belief. It has nothing to do with the topic of this particular clip. So if you are in a relationship, you're long-term, even if you're engaged, do not move in together. There are too many hazards and pitfalls that have absolutely nothing to do with Christianity or the Bible. You just don't want to go there. Very simple. So that's why that is today's version from the St. Croix National River Scenic Byway, I should say, north of Scandia, Minnesota, and across the river behind me from Osceola, Wisconsin. It's a beautiful 75-degree day. I thought I'd come out here and film outdoors just for the fun of it and because I enjoyed the trip. And so you will see one in a couple days from my actual residence, which is Forest Lake, Minnesota. That's an edition that you definitely don't want to miss. And if you appreciate my content, please like and subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments below. I do make given as few comments as I get these days, I make it a habit to respond to every single one. And if it's big enough of a comment, it could become a future subject. Right now, this is not it's not hard. YouTube will probably never be my full main source of income. The book I'm writing right now about, for men, Stop the Desperation. That could be. I'm working on manuscript right now. I finished on chapter 1 yesterday. I'm going to be working on chapter 2 today. There are 8 chapters in this book. And I don't think it's going to be a very long read, but it does take a lot of work and a lot of brain power to put together a book. It's not easy to do, even when you have everything all organized in order like I do with outlines and such. So anyway, I will see you folks on a different day here, and peace out, homies.